6:45 a.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news, edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. The Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Thailand, Srettha Thavisin, concluded a successful two-day official visit to Sri Lanka. The distribution process of deed titles for more than 2 million residents will commence today at the Rangiri Dambulla International Cricket Stadium. Raids on finding the control price of bread will commence today. A JVP delegation to make an official visit to India. The opposition leader Sajith Premadasa said efficient and hard-working, honest individuals are joining the SJB. In news overseas, civilians taking part in Ukraine's plan to produce 1 million FPV drones. In sports news, Afghanistan fight back reduces Sri Lanka's lead to 42. The Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Thailand, Srettha Thavisin, concluded a successful two-day official visit to Sri Lanka. The Prime Minister Thavisin was in Sri Lanka on an invitation extended by President Ranil Wickremesinghe to participate in the 76th anniversary celebrations of Sri Lanka's independence as a guest of honour. The Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Thailand participated in the signing of the Sri Lanka-Thailand Free Trade Agreement. In addition, both parties renewed air services agreements originally signed in 1950 and entered into an MOU on cooperation in the gems and jewellery transaction sector. The Prime Minister was accompanied by the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Commerce, the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Permanent Secretary of Foreign Affairs and other senior dignitaries of the Thai government and a high-level business delegation. The distribution process of deed titles for more than 2 million residents will commence today at the Rangiri Dambulla International Cricket Stadium. The stadium was renovated to the international standard and will be declared open today under the patronage of the President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Under the first phase of this project, around 12,000 deed titles will be given to residents who reside on these lands for a long time. The suspected leader of the notorious criminal gang known as Ava Group, which has committed various crimes including extortion in Jaffna, has been arrested by the police. The arrest was made by officers of the Valane Anti-Vice Unit at the residence in the Mount Lavinia area, believed to be owned by a 72-year-old female. Investigations revealed that the suspect had paid a monthly rent of 25,000 rupees since October 2023. According to the police, the suspect was preparing to flee to Dubai at the time of his arrest. Prabha was also reportedly in possession of 1 gram and 330 milligrams of crystal meth or ice, along with a leaflet and 100 rupees as a note with the Ava Group logo at the time of his arrest. The arrestee was reportedly involved in several crimes including murder, property damage and obstructing the duties of police personnel in the Telepalai, Chunnakam, Manipai, Jaffna and Kilinochchi areas. It is also reported that the suspect carried out many of these crimes as part of contracts assigned to him by persons residing abroad. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The opposition leader Sajith Premadasa says efficient and hard-working, honest individuals are joining the SJB. However, some politically bankrupt individuals are trying to harm and damage the good name of the party. They are trying to destabilize the party. Party hierarchies will take stern action against anyone who protests against the decisions of the Central Executive Committee of the party. SJB's leader Sajith Premadasa said no one can dictate terms on the party hierarchy about whom to be taken in and whom to leave the party. The government approved and private schools commenced their second phase of the third-term education activities today. The first phase of the third-term education activities of government-approved schools concluded on the 22nd December 2023. However, the second phase was scheduled to commence on the 1st of February 2024, which was postponed due to the conduct of the special exam on the agriculture science paper of the GCE Advanced Level Examination. The central bank says that the gross official reserves improved to $4.4 billion by the end of December 2023. This included the swap facility from the People's Bank of China equivalent to around $1.4 billion, which is subject to conditionality on usability. The central bank releasing the external sector performance for December 2023 said that workers' remittances amounted to $570 million in December 2023 in comparison to $537 million in November 2023 and $476 million in December 2022. The central bank added exchange rates continued to remain stable during December 2023 and recorded an appreciation of 12.1% during 2023. The interviews to select the students for the Media and Communication Diploma course conducted by the National Youth Council will commence today. Candidates should bring a self-made biodata when they attend the interview. Interviews will be conducted from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. at the National Youth Services Council premises. Candidates can obtain more details by dialing 0718-476-933 or 0112-850-986. Once again, interviews to select students for the Media and Communication Diploma course conducted by the National Youth Council will commence today. Candidates should bring a self-made biodata when they attend the interview. Interviews will be conducted from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. at the National Youth Services Council premises. Candidates can obtain more details by dialing 0718-476-933 or 0112-850-986. A delegation of the Janata Vimukti Peramunu, a Marxist-Leninist Communist Party, the JVP, which led an anti-India campaign in 1987 to 1990 against the Indo-Lanka Accord, will on Monday today start an official visit to India. The delegation of the JVP, the largest party under the broad entity National People's Power NPP, is to leave Colombo on Monday for India on an official invitation of the Indian government, a statement from the party said. The delegation to India comprises of JVP leader Anur Kumar Dissanayake, senior legislator Vijay Hera, Secretary Sinhala and Executive Committee member Professor Anil Jayanta. The statement said. The Indo-Sri Lanka Peace Accord signed in Colombo on the 29th of July 1987 between the Indian Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi and the Sri Lankan President J.R. Jayawardena was expected to resolve the Sri Lankan civil war by enabling the 13th Amendment to the Constitution of Sri Lanka. Under the terms of the agreement, Colombo agreed to a devolution of part of the provinces. The Sri Lankan troops were to be withdrawn to their barracks in the north and the Tamil rebels were to surrender their arms. The surveys claim that in the post-economic crisis phase since 2022, the NPP has gained significantly in public support, particularly in anti-corruption perceptions. Analysts, however, remain sceptical if the party could raise its current 3% vote base to 50% plus one vote required to win the presidency. The JVP has a checkered record, having led two bloody rebellions in 1971 and 1987 to 1990.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
Raids on finding the control price of bread will commence today. Raids will also look for the standard weight of bread. The officials of the Consumer Affairs Authority will conduct these raids.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
And now in Watch Live, the National Dengue Control Unit states that 10,021 dengue cases were reported in January. During this period, the highest number of dengue cases has been reported from the Jaffna district. The number of dengue deaths recorded during this period is 4. The National Dengue Control Unit said the highest number of dengue-infected people has been reported from the Western Province, and it is 32.7% as a percentage. So far, 60 dengue high-risk zones have been identified across the country. The National Dengue Control Unit requests that if anyone has fever for more than 48 hours, they should refer a qualified doctor.
Coming up, World News.
In world news headlines now, the U.S. National Security Advisor hints at further attacks on Iranian-backed groups. Civilians taking part in Ukraine's plan to produce 1 million FPV drones. Netanyahu says Israel won't compromise in negotiations with Hamas. The U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan has said the United States will take more action in retaliation for a fatal attack on the U.S. military in Jordan, which is believed to have been carried out by an Iranian-backed group. Sullivan was speaking at an interview with the ABC News on Sunday. The U.S. military has been intensifying attacks on forces said to be linked to Iran following the death of 3 U.S. service members in a U.S. outpost in Jordan last week. Civilians in Ukraine are helping in the production of 1 million drones of a type called FPV on first-person view to be used for the battle against Russia. FPV drones are widely in demand on the battlefield as they enable the operators to check aerial footage in real time as if they were the pilot really flying the aircraft. The drone's small size and cheaper costs are also among its key features. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has warned that Israel will not agree to any deal that requires it to compromise. This comes as negotiations with Hamas continue. Netanyahu made the remark at a government meeting held yesterday. He said that 17 of the 24 Hamas battalions in Gaza have been destroyed. The Prime Minister promised to deal with the remaining ones. He said that most of them are in Rafah in southern Gaza. And now the main points of the World News segment once again. The U.S. National Security Advisor hints at further attacks on Iranian-backed groups. Civilians taking part in Ukraine's plan to produce 1 million FPV drones. Netanyahu says Israel won't compromise in negotiations with Hamas. And now in development news, Thai Airways will resume daily flights between Bangkok and Colombo commencing from the 31st of March, with Thai nationals offered free visa on arrival in Sri Lanka and Sri Lanka too being offered a similar facility in the future. The airlines is expected to be a major success, aviation experts say.
Moving on with sports news.
A maiden test 100 by Ibrahim Zadran helped Afghanistan recover in the one-off test against Sri Lanka in Colombo as the tourists ended day 3 on 199 for 1. On Sunday, Afghanistan had to show fight in their second dig after being shot out 198 in their first innings to concede a lead of 241. Ibrahim went past his previous test best score of 87 and then completed his maiden test 100 in the last over of the day with a single to covers, leaving him unbeaten on 101. It is only the fourth test 100 by an Afghan. The 22-year-old opening batsman was given 2 reprieves. The first was on 39 when Prabha Jayasuriya put down a tough return catch, and then again on 63 when Nishan Madushka at short meet off dropped a catch off Jayasuriya's bowling.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Hong Kong's home carrier Cathay Pacific's much-awaited direct flights between Sri Lanka and Hong Kong are officially back following a 4-year hiatus, resuming a legacy of serving the Sri Lankan market for over 30 years. The first flight from the Bandaranaike International Airport successfully took off on the 2nd of February, marking the return of Cathay Pacific's 3 times weekly service from Colombo, operating on Wednesdays, Fridays and Sundays. Flights operated by the airline's Airbus A330 or A330 aircraft.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
And now in economic news, Sri Lanka's premier footwear and leather fair organized by the Sri Lanka Footwear and Leather Products Manufacturers Association in collaboration with the Ministry of Industries, Industrial Development Board and the Export Development Board will be held from the 8th of February to the 11th at the BMICH. The theme of this year's fair is Made in Sri Lanka. The fair will have about 215 stalls with the participation of suppliers of raw materials, accessories and machinery from China, India and Pakistan.
Weather report.
The Met Department says several spells of showers will occur in the eastern and Nuva provinces and in the Polonnaruwa and Matadi districts. A few showers may occur in the Anuradhapura and Hambantota districts. Showers and showers will occur at several places in the western Sabaragama and northwestern provinces and in the Kandy, Nuwara, Gala and Matadi districts after 2 p.m. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the central and Sabaragama provinces and in the Gala and Matadi districts during the morning. The public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during the thunder showers. This is the report was issued at 4:30 a.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. That was with the report. And now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. The Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Thailand, Srettha Thavisin, concluded a successful 2-day official visit to Sri Lanka. The distribution process of deed titles for more than 2 million residents will commence today at the Rangiri Dampul International Cricket Stadium. The raids on finding the controlled price of bread will commence today. A JVP delegation to make an official visit to India. The opposition leader Sajid Premadasa says efficient and hard-working, honest individuals are joining the SJB. In news overseas, civilians taking part in Ukraine's plan to produce 1 million FPV drones. In sports news, Afghanistan fight back reduces Sri Lanka's lead to 42. That concludes this news broadcast, and now it's back to your host as always on the other side, Sharifa Tahir, all set and ready after a very busy weekend. I guess that's right. Over to you, Shari, to keep our listeners in great company.